And James Hagens selected by the Boston Bruins at pick number 7 out of Boston College, projected to be a top 3 pick in the NHL Draft. He falls to 7, and he's staying in Boston. Bruins fans are there at the draft. They're cheering this pick. Getting hugs all around. Everyone is happy. He looks happy. James Hagens selected by the Bruins, 18 years old, 5'11", 186 from New York, but obviously playing at Boston College. He'll stay home where he's probably been living for a bit, and he'll play for the Bees. Now, again, I don't have all the projections of when you'll see him. Obviously, when they come to rookie camp, we'll get more of it, but nice suit, by the way. Nice suit. So it is Hagens off the board for the Bees. And I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown on it. I know our guys, Ty Anderson and Matt Doloff, are going to have some stuff set up over on 98.5thesportshub.com. So you can read up on that while you listen to the show all night. But yes, it was James Hagens off the board for the Bees. You can certainly react to it if you'd like, but I know that McQueen was probably what people thought they would get just from afar, and the little that I've looked into this, sounds like they got the best player available. I'm trying to read some of the takes on this, just instant reaction, because I know a lot of people are at the draft at the moment, so they probably need some time to kind of digest and get an opinion up here, but Hagen going to the Bees sounds like they got the best guy available here. So you can react to it if you'd like, but this, I think this might get some people excited. I think this could get people excited. They know him, right? It's just another New England hockey player. He's got the 25 on. I like the Adam Sandler approach. I really like that. So he was exactly a point per game player at Boston College as a freshman. He was tied for 12th in the Hockey East. People can't believe he fell to 7. That seems to be what everybody is saying. But James Hagens, a Boston Bruin. Just trying to read some of the reports. 37 points in his debut season for Boston College. A player with a unique vision, prone to technical dominance through possessions. And I'm looking it up. 11 goals, 26 assists, 37 points. People seem to be pretty happy about it. Positional need, local guy. He didn't go to the Islanders. I think that's good. This was the former projected number 1 overall pick that just fell to the Bees at 7. My question is, why did teams pass on him? I don't care, actually. The once projected number 1 overall pick is now a Boston Bruin. So did it matter that they landed at 7? No. We'll see how it works on the ice, but when it comes to just what the Bees did, not bad. You can certainly react to it. James Hagens staying home in Boston. Bruins fans are happy about this one. And it was Happy Gilmore, which I absolutely loved, who came out with the pick. So there it is, everybody. Let's hear the pick here, Jeff. Thank you.
My name is Happy Gilmore. How are you? Proud to be part of the 2025 NHL Draft. The Boston Bruins select from Boston College, James Hagens. Way to go, homie!
Way to go, homie.
Now, it's been a while since I've really watched Happy Gilmore. Is that how he talked in the movie? It was more like his just regular voice, right? Don't tell me this is what's going to... Because I haven't really watched any of the trailers. Don't tell me this is going to be how he talks the whole movie. This is going to be like a little Nicky gimmick.
We can get into that later.
Oh boy, I'm
Yeah,
cultivating the in or out. So you know what? I think I found one.
Even Billy Madison.
No, he would just do all his voices though, but the majority of it was his normal voice. I can't do another Adam Sandler movie where he does I love That's My Boy, but that voice, gets old after a while.
All right. Well, everybody's happy about the pick, and I'm sure the guys will have more over at 985thesportsup.com. We'll have more stuff trickle in no matter what we find out or hear. But the Boston Bruins, they've selected a center from Boston College with the 7th pick, one time projected to be the number 1 overall pick. I think Bruins fans are very happy getting tremendous value for a team that truly needs high-end skill at the center position. So we'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I'm going to try to get this up on the website so you all can see us react to the Bruins selecting James Hagens. What do we call him? Hagee? What would be his nickname? Hags?
We already have a Hags in the area.
Hags?
I would gladly give this kid that name.
Well, I mean, I don't know how would Hags like that. I mean, maybe he might. Hags on Hags. Hags. What's a Hags with Hags with Hags? Yes. Well, we got the game on the Red Sox game. We got the Bruins making a selection at the NHL Draft. We got a lot going on. Let's bring in Brian Barrett, he of The Ringer, joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Brian, I was going to ask you, what do you know about Mr. Hagens? Do you know anything about this guy? He was once projected to be the number 1 overall pick and somehow fell to the Bruins tonight at pick number 7 in the draft. James Hagens, you got anything on him?
Well, I checked in with my buddy Connor Ryan from earlier today, and he basically told me that it's a great value pick, right? Considering I just look at it from the Bruins roster perspective. I think about last year and the fact that David Pastrnak had the quietest 100-point season probably in the entire NHL. I think he was the only guy in the NHL where he, in terms of top 10 point scorers, that wasn't in the playoffs. And the fact that, all right, I understand where this team is at in terms of they're not contending right now, but they don't have a top-line center. And obviously it's going to take a while for Hagens to get to that level. But even if you look at a guy like Lindholm, yeah, he came on at the end of the season. But, Joe, that happened when he played on David Pasternak's line. Ideally, what you need in the future is somebody else that can carry a line, right? Pastrnak is going to carry the line no matter who's playing center with him, right? We've seen it with so many different guys in the past. The question is going to be, can somebody else carry another line? So I like taking a shot at a center, and that's one of the weakest positions on the team. Wouldn't you agree? They need a lot of scoring. So I totally understand the rationale behind this pick, and it felt like he felt that he fell there. So I'm on board with it for sure. And the fact that he's already here locally, kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and pretend I know, hey, they should have got this guy over that guy. I'm not going to do that. But, it's funny.
Isn't it the toughest draft to do that? We can do that in the NFL. We can even do that in the NBA. It's really difficult to do that in the NHL because so many guys come from different countries,
Exactly. Age to whatever league they were playing in, whether it was college or the OHL or whatever. All I know is the Bruins will have 4 prospects that play for BC next year. Hagens, Dean Letourneau, who they drafted last year, Andre Gassau, and that Oscar Yelvik kid. So there's 4 of them. They've drafted them all. It's almost as if this is something we were bringing up. No matter who the pick was, I feel like Don Sweeney would have been criticized. Oh, he went with the local guy, right? He did say yesterday that he's going to take the best guy available. If this was we were doing a fantasy football draft and we had to, just let it go, they would have picked this pick. Auto pick would have made James Hagens, so I'm in on the auto pick.
Well, I feel like this organization is in such a weird spot because, all right, they had a bunch of veteran guys that some of them were part of the Cup team, of course, in 2011, but they had that great group of veterans, and we're talking about the Bergerons, the Krejcis of the world. And then they made some really smart trades, right? But they had to trade away a ton of value draft picks because they were going for it a couple of years ago, and it made sense. I mean, they had the most points and they had the most wins in the history of the NHL in the regular season, so it made sense to do that. But a large portion of the reason that this has sort of slipped off as an organization is you sort of have this middle class where these guys are in their prime, right? David Pastrnak is one of the most talented goal scorers in the league. That's indisputable. And you have a guy like Charlie McAvoy, who is, like, to be conservative, he's a top 10 defenseman in the league. Lindholm, when he's healthy, he's pushing that as well. So you have two top-tier defensemen. You have a guy like David Pastrnak, and hopefully Swayman can bounce back from the season he had a year ago. But then it's like, all right, well, you don't really have a lot of good young players, and that's because they haven't hit on a lot of draft picks, A. But B, they haven't made a lot of draft picks because they traded away to try to win a cup a couple of years ago, which I can totally understand the rationale behind that. Like, if I'm them, I would have done the same thing. Like, you had an unbelievable team. Like, the fact that you blew that 3-1 lead to Florida, I mean, it's going to sting forever. And Florida's, of course, turned into an absolute juggernaut, but that's where this organization is at right now. So they have to start to hit on some of these young guys. But at the same point, like, this team it's almost like now, like, could they be on the treadmill of mediocrity for the next 3 to 5 years? Like, you have one of the best players in the league and one of the best defensemen in the league in Charlie McAvoy. But what is this team, like, what is their ceiling next year? Like, making the playoffs and losing in the first round? I just feel like they're in a tough spot.
Yeah. Marco Sturm, at least I'll say this. I feel like he is ready to take on the challenge. But in the end, it is up to Don Sweeney. It's not even about who the coach is. But just reading some stuff here, people think this is a potential franchise-altering pick. 7th overall. He had 100. So in college, I wouldn't even get into his college numbers, right? I guess the under 18 is where he was magnificent. 102 points, 39 goals, 63 assists. Like, I don't know. That's pretty good to me. It's not bad at all. So maybe this is the guy. And I mean, I don't know, but like, how long are these guys away for? He'll probably play at BC next year, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know the exact timeline, but I mean, hopefully he play for the Bruins sooner than later, because you look at the team right now, like, their center depth just isn't there, which comes back to the whole Don Sweeney thing, right? Like, Don Sweeney, to his credit, and I'm not a Don Sweeney defender by any means, but he's made a lot of good trades, right? Like, he has made a lot of good trades. We can't dispute that, but that's when they were in win-all mode, right? Now the question is he the right guy to rebuild? Like, everyone's going to point back to the 2015 draft, right? The DeBrus, the Zboros, and you had all these guys like the Kyle Connors of the world, the Barzels that went after him, and we all understand, like, how bad that was. So that's the question for Don Sweeney, is can he rebuild this thing? But also, I look at it in terms of the next couple of weeks are going to be huge for this organization. Like, what are they going to do in terms of, because if you're not going out there right now and trying to win now with David Pastrnak, what's his long-term future with the organization? Because at some point he's going to look at it and say, you know what? And same thing with Charlie McAvoy. Like, I kind of want to win. Like, those are two really good players that are going to have a ton of value if you ever put them on the open market. So what's your decision going to be? Are you going to try to win with those guys, or are you going complete rebuild? Like, I feel like it's tough to sort of middle it. You know what I mean? Like, it's really tough to say, hey, we're going to try to compete right now and build for the future. Who has ever had success doing it that way?
I don't know, Brian. I don't like it, but you know what? It's going to be hard for me to nitpick this one. They auto-drafted, and I like that they didn't make the pick. It fell to them, and I'm happy with that one.
Joe, as I say that, I think about the Celtics, right? Like, they were rebuilding for so many years because they had the Nets picks, and what were they bad for 1 year? Right? And then they're like, because Brad Stevens was such a good coach, they were bad for 1 year, and then they're making runs in the playoffs. Basically, they had essentially one bad year, right? Like Marcus Smart's rookie year, and then after that, they were good again. So, hey, maybe the Bruins can do that.